Hello, it is my second week of painting Pokemon. If you don't know why I'm painting Pokemon this whole month, well, I don't either. But I'm Maya, and I'm following this prompt list I made. It was an exciting week. I think these paintings are subjectively better than last week. The ones I was the most excited to paint were the first and last day, but I think my unexpected favorite was the one on the 11th, the garden one. But let's get into it. Feel free to grab your preferred art of choice and draw along with me, or move me to the second monitor and do whatever it is that you're up to. It is the first day of the second week. Prompt today is honey. I wanted to show myself writing this lettering because look at how tiny it is. When I drew it on my iPad, it was way bigger, and then turns out when you shrink it, it gets smaller. And my palette is getting kind of dirty. I haven't cleaned it since the beginning of this challenge, so let's wipe it away and start clean. To start out, I am putting some masking fluid on the areas I want to stay white, but let's go back in time to before I had this idea drawn out. I was kind of struggling with this prompt. I like the word honey because it's such a cute word, it's sweet, and it's my favorite color. But all that could come to mind was like Beedrill or Combee. But then I was thinking that would feel weird, like, would I show them making honey? How does a Beedrill even fit in the hive? How big would the hive have to be? Then I thought I'd just draw a different Pokemon enjoying honey, like Snorlax, since in order to get one in Diamond and Pearl you need to use a honey tree. And then I thought, maybe I should just do another bug-type Pokemon, so we can get that bug-type representation. But when it came time for me to draw this idea, it wasn't working. I was thinking of Sizer, and then I don't know. And when I'm ideating for these challenges, I always use Pinterest. So I typed honey into Pinterest and I'm scrolling and nothing was really capturing my imagination until it hit me. The honey bear! I could do Ursaring or Teddy Ursa's honey bottles. I considered both of them but decided Teddy Ursa's anatomy is already the most similar to a honey bottle, so converting it wouldn't be too hard. Plus the way it hides its mouth with its hand could be fun to interpret into the honey bottle design, and maybe a bit more iconic. Referencing the honey bottles was fun. I looked at other honey bottle labels. I kind of copied one pretty closely, but hey, I changed some things, okay? And I also like how honey bottles have this yellow cap that's it's this dull, desaturated, boring yellow, compared to the honey. They can only imitate the color of honey. They can't get the true color. Also, during this point, I was supposed to be letting it dry, but I was so excited that I couldn't stop working on it. I accidentally finished almost the whole painting during this time lapse. I think that it's important to work on things that excite you, even if they're stupid or kind of kitschy. If it makes you happy, someone else will be able to see your excitement too. We're nearing the end of this painting, doing the final touches, removing the masking fluid, which is always so satisfying. But let's do that reveal.
You like jazz?
If I told you to draw a saxophone right now, you would think I was crazy. Or similar, those other challenges where it's draw a horse or a bike. But I think people forget one skill that is always on your side. Simplicity. Sometimes the best things are simple. A lot of the best logo designs are simple. Think Apple, Target, or Nike. So that's what I did with this saxophone. It didn't need to be complicated. I didn't even reference a real saxophone. I just took the elements my brain remembered the most and included them. That would be the big blowhole part, the curvy shape, and some buttons, which looking back now, I think I could have even left the buttons out, and the mouthpiece. I wanted to put the majority of my effort into making the Slowpoke's performance believable and stylized. When I say a believable performance, I mean the puffed out cheeks, the closed eyes, and his posture. I also actually wanted to add more members of this band. I originally had a drummer, and for like 1 second a bass player. Then I narrowed it down to just the sax and drum, but ultimately, I like the focus on just the sax player. Again, simplicity. But if you like this little drum guy, let me know. I'd be open to painting him another time. Also, the 9th of July is my cat's birthday! Pepper is 3 whole years old now. So for her birthday, I got her special treats and food. Specifically arugula. She stole a piece of arugula off of my burger recently, and we realized that she kind of likes it. Like, she likes no other human food I've tried to give her. Peanut butter? No. Any fish or meat that's not pulverized into juice and artificially shaped chunks? No, doesn't like it. Other leafy greens? No. But arugula, she goes crazy for it. So here's a clip of her eating it, like how you insert dollar bills into a vending machine. It's kind of freak behavior, but we love her anyways. It's kind of crazy that she's 3 though. We got her during the pandemic, and those years just kind of are all one in my brain, so I never am sure how old she is. Anyways, back to this Slowpoke. This day is one of the shorter ones just because this painting was incredibly simple. I think I mixed 3 colors, yellow, pink, and beige. But it's fun. It's nice to have ones like that are super easy. I try to sandwich the easy ones in between the very hard ones, just to keep up the morale. At this point, I'm just layering up the paints, creating shadows, making the pinks a little darker. And then we're switching into the colored pencil. And with that, this painting is almost done. So, let's do that reveal. I'm starting this day off making my favorite drink, matcha. No product placement here, I just love matcha. I love making it in the summer. I don't like it as much as a winter drink when it's warm, I'm just not so into it, but cold matcha, the best. But about the prompt for today. On this day, I set out to design a Pokemon character to match a Galar Ponyta. With a theme word like pink, I knew I wanted to do a pink Pokemon, and I thought, why not pair it with a trainer? I had like a foggy image of what I wanted this person to look like. I knew they were going to wear pink and be a girl. I imagined a lot of white in her design, and maybe her clothes were impractical, like wearing it just because it's cute. You know, bows and frills and whatnot. But first, I needed to research what Pokemon characters look like because characters in this universe have a certain Pokemon-ness to their outfits. It's hard to put my finger on it. They dress like it's early 2000s, wear completely unnecessary layers, bright colors, and almost everyone has a Pokemon-themed element like shoehorned into their clothes somewhere. Actually, right after I designed my trainer, Lizard Lee posted this video where they dive into Pokemon design. I highly recommend it if that subject interests you. Plus the costume they're designing is super cool. But I landed on this long dress with pleats and some kind of ruffled petticoat underneath it, along with a white knit vest over a turquoise collared shirt, big baggy socks, and pink little fluffy arm cuffs, and matching fluffy ponytails, just to reference the ones that Ponyta has above its hooves. And I added a glove because I think it's funny when the trainers have gloves for throwing their Pokeballs. Like, how hard are you guys throwing these things? Why do you need a glove? Are you getting calluses? Also added a love ball because it matched her aesthetic too well. I went with big pigtails because I saw the Fairy Miku design and it inspired me. And a simple white bag, but decorated with a Skitty, Hatena, and Marl charm. I also wanted to include ribbons on her shirt from beauty pageants, but it was visually too busy, so I just kept the best friend ribbon and put that on her bag. I joked to my friend that she probably has an Azurill that knows belly drum and huge power. I imagine her being a pretty competitive player who is super proud of her Pokemon, hence the beauty pageant badges. And I think she mostly has first or second evolutions because I think it's cute when Pokemon and their trainers grow up together. I'm not sure if she's a trainer or a gym leader, but I'm definitely leaning more towards trainer. I can see her being in like the schoolgirl trainer category. Oh my god, okay. I wanted to see what other schoolgirl trainers looked like, and I found this girl. She's so similar to the girl I made. I must have subconsciously channeled her. And she is from X and Y, so yeah, it's possible that I did that. Also, I was looking at other trainer types, and Alola has a Battle Legend trainer. Actually, 2. And it's red and blue! I'm sure this is common knowledge, but I think I erased it from my memory, or maybe I somehow skipped them, but look at them, they grew up! Which just kind of makes me feel old, though. Also, my trainer girl does not have a name. Please help me come up with a name for her. I'm bad at names and I haven't decided on one. And as for the painting, I'm painting her baggy socks. These are very baggy socks. I wanted them to have some volume. Unlike the regular baggy socks, they're kind of flat. But I wanted the volume, you know, to mimic the Ponyta's fluffy hair. I think in the back of my mind when I was designing this too, I was thinking a lot about silhouette. And I was thinking about areas where it would be more puffy versus contrasting with areas that are straight or more thin. Overall, I think her silhouette's pretty good. It probably could be pushed more in some areas somehow, but we just try to do the best we can for a one-day painting challenge. At this point, I am doing the pink, and I think what's left, I have pink and black. I actually do the black off screen, so I'll just let this play out, and then we'll have the reveal after that. Since the beginning of this challenge, I knew that I would want to paint a Torterra. It is my first starter I ever chose. Yes, I am a Sinnoh baby, and I chose a Turtwig. and I named it green, and that thing carried me so hard through the whole game. But yeah, so I thought, okay, garden, it's the perfect one. I'll paint a little garden on the back of a Torterra. At this point in the challenge, I feel like I finally remembered how to watercolor. Kind of a crazy thing to say, I'm sorry. Before, I was just trying too much. I kept doing wet on wet, even when I didn't need to. For some reason, I thought it would help with creating a better gradient, but that's only for combining multiple colors. If it's just one color, you don't need to do wet on wet. And I was also trying to use it to help me water down my colors, thinking more water would make it lighter. But that's also very unnecessary, like, just add more water to the paint you mixed. You think I know this by now, but to be honest, when I take a break from one type of medium, or even one subject, I kind of forget how to do it. Which is a shame, but at the end of the day, I'm having fun, and I had a lot of fun working on this. But it's almost come to an end. So, let me show you what I made. Is it weird at all that I use the water from my dehumidifier to watercolor? Is that weird? Is that disturbing to anyone else? But okay. Prompt word is sunset. This is a pretty straightforward one. I had a lot of fun with it. I'm actually going to talk about something completely different. I posted this video to Instagram and it kind of blew up. I've been consistently posting on Instagram for years with few breaks. And it feels really weird for something to actually be noticed. I don't know why, but I've always wanted my Instagram to grow. Except it's really hard to grow on there. If you have one, you probably know what I'm talking about. I feel like I've tried it all. I actually completely stopped posting image posts because those don't really get seen by anyone, not even the people who are following me. But now, because of the one that blew up, my reels are getting like 500 to 1,000 views, which is a lot better than 0 to 100 that I was getting before. I also just hit 1,000 followers, which I'm really excited about. It's like a switch was flipped on my account and now I'm actually being seen. And I think it really shows that the quality of your content has nothing to do with it. Like, I think this video is fine, but it wasn't a masterpiece, it was just a simple drawing, and I guess the sentiment really resonated with people. But like, once a video gets a certain amount of views, it just gets shown to more people. So if you're someone who makes and posts art, don't feel bad if few people see it. It's not your art and it's not you. I swear it's like 100% luck. Okay, well maybe like 2% about having a decent idea. So keep at it, keep posting, make stuff that you like. Of course, be kind to yourself. Don't stare at your phone all day. And speaking of that, because of this challenge, I have been super glued to my phone, so I thought I'd get some fresh air, and the city I live in has a bunch of stuff going on this weekend. And one of those things is Bastille Day. I think it's some French holiday that we celebrate for no reason. But it was fun to walk around and look at what's going on. There's like a giant wooden Eiffel Tower in one of the parks. And there was a bunch of live music. It was fun. It was nice to not be on the phone so much, you know? And this painting's really almost done. I just touch it up with a bit of watercolor. Here I'm doing some highlights on the bottom of the clouds. Let's see the reveal. IRL, I like the cold for about 2 months, December and January to be exact, but after that it's too much. I'm sorry, but it should not be snowing in March. Although I do love a wintry theme and frosty magical aesthetic. I knew immediately that I needed Snom to be in this piece. But I wanted to choose one other Pokemon to be interacting with the Snom in some sort of way. I went back and forth on which one, and eventually I just used a random Pokemon generator. And I got Luxray. Luxray is cool, so I'm committed to it. I say Luxray is cool, but there's one thing that bothers me about it. It's the arm stripes. It's too much. It's too much going on in its design. I get it, it's a cute little, nod to the past evolutions because they get more and more arm stripes, but 3 is too much. Whoever designed this thing was out of their mind. Sorry, I just had to get that off of my chest, but... Anyways, I originally wanted a sprawling, snowy landscape, but if I increase the visibility of the background, I don't know how Snom could possibly even be visible in a vast landscape. I think this is why fisheye lenses exist, to have a big focal point and still have a wide viewing angle of the background. Plus the distortion is fun. But I didn't do a fisheye effect, I just pointed the camera at the ground and cut the idea of a landscape. When I'm composing a piece, I tend to think of it like I'm setting up a camera at an already existing scene, but in my opinion, the camera is invisible. I once took an illustration class in college, and I accidentally started a big debate during a critique because of the picture I drew. The assignment was to re-illustrate the cover of a folklore story. I chose Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, and I made this. Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, but they break into her house this time. My teacher didn't like it because he didn't know who the viewer was. The mirror was really throwing him. He was asking us if he thinks that every image that you illustrate has a viewer. And I think that this was a complicated concept for a first-year illustration class. Personally, it was something that I never really thought about, and I think no one else really thought about. We were like, I don't know. No? Probably not. I don't think there needs to be a viewer. We were all kind of undecided on it. But I'm a really stubborn person, so at the time I was disagreeing. I was like, no, this image doesn't need a viewer. I think it's great. But now I'll give it to him. I missed the opportunity to make one of the bears holding a camera and taking a picture, especially since I included the mirror in the first place. I should have used that to my advantage, but instead I just kind of put it there because I wanted her sitting at a vanity with a mirror. But those are the kind of mistakes you would expect from a freshman. Just not fully thinking out the piece, but I must say that teacher was really hard on me. I have other stories from that class. I don't know what it is, but he really liked to pick on what I drew. Also, this is off topic, but later this month on the 28th, I am having an artist booth where I'll be selling my art. And I spoke with the person who's running it. Turns out I do need to bring my own table and my own chairs, so this is something I need to get before the 28th. I also need to plan my entire booth and get products for that, so that's fun. I'm really excited for it though. And of course, I'll be taking you guys along with me because that's fun. I always love watching people do Artist Alley vlogs, so I'm excited to be that person who's doing an Artist Alley vlog. Also, something else I'm excited about, the new Mr. Beast video dropped today, the 13th, I think, of July. And it's the one where he invited like 50 YouTubers to stay in the box. You know his shtick. They get like $1 million. You know how it is. And spoilers, I'm gonna say who won. But Jaden Animations won. That's so cool. And she says that she wants to pay for people's college to art schools. I think it's awesome that an artist won. I really was thinking Logan Paul was gonna win. It seemed kind of rigged. But to actually see her win, also a woman, that's awesome. It brings attention to the art community. I love it. This painting is finished. Here's the reveal. You know how we do it. Last day of the week, Sunday. Word today is royal. I needed to find the most royal Pokemon for today. Vespiquen and Slowking came to mind, even Aegislash. But there is one who, maybe he isn't royal, but he protects royalty. He's poised and a skilled fighter. Literally, in order to evolve, they need to land 3 critical hits in one battle. I chose Sirfetch'd. I remember when they announced him and he kind of became a meme. I mean, look at how long his sword is. And his eyes. The whole time I was painting him, I couldn't unsee that it looked like it was giving me bedroom eyes the whole time.
And stop staring at me with them big old eyes.
I guess its sword is so long because the leeks in the United Kingdom are way bigger than the ones in Japan. But taking a look into the process of how I came up with this idea, I really wanted to paint him like those eccentric pet portraits of dogs dressed as royal people or generals. When I was looking for examples of them, I did stumble across someone else who had done this concept before for Sirfetch'd. Their name is Tiketch on most socials. Here is their work and their on Twitter. I hesitated to continue with this idea, but I thought, you know what? It's kind of impossible to be the first and only person to think of an idea. And I tried to glance at theirs. I didn't want to examine it too hard, but just enough to know what it looked like so that I wouldn't accidentally copy theirs. I think I made mine different enough so they're doing different things, although I should have double-checked because the clothes are kind of similar. But these are the references I used to help me influence my decisions, so I have no ill intent. I did not mean to copy. At the time I didn't know it, but the concept I had for the first day of this challenge, people have also done a Smoliv in a martini. And here are just some examples of other people who've done it. So these things can be hard to avoid. I think going forward I'll try to look up if the ideas I have are blatantly ripping off some other artist. And if I'm still committed to the idea, I'll at least try to contact the other artist and get the go-ahead. But back to the painting, I'm really doing like the final steps. I've got the Sirfetch'd painted, I'm just doing the frame. And the frame was a huge pain in the ass to like draw, but painting it was really fun. It really felt like I couldn't mess it up. I just slapped down some dark paint in the areas that I assumed would have shadows, and that was kind of it. But please enjoy me painting this frame, and I'll do the reveal very soon.
You start now?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
Thank you so much for staying till the end. If you drew along with me, tag me on Instagram at Pumpkin Pancakes. I'd love to see what you made. Let me know in the comments which painting is your favorite. If you missed it, check out last week's video where I did the first week of this challenge, and consider subscribing and liking. Okay, bye. Goodbye.